first saw Connie Shaw on her interview on Soul Jones, and I was very impressed by the kind of information she had shared on that interview. And ever since then, I was very keen on establishing contact with her to share some knowledge. It was only a few months back that I got to know of her website and got to know of her email ID and mailed her. She was kind enough to reply. And it was in the course of this communication that she suggested, why don't you hold a quantum gazing session at your place? You would just need around 20 people, and it's a free of cost service, and others could benefit from this. I was very keen on doing that because it was coming from her, although I had no idea what a gazing session was. I read it from a website and tried to gain as much understanding as I could. The problem was I didn't think I would be able to gather even 10 people to attend the session. Surprisingly, on the day of the gazing, we had around 45 people turn up, and many of them flew in from different places. When they got to know that we were holding a gazing session at our place, they were very keen on attending, and they said, "We're coming from a far-off place, please, we'd like to be a part of this." In fact, there were many other people who we had to turn away because there was not enough space there. Another thing that I vividly remember is we were holding this session at my sister's place in a living room. It's a large enough place to accommodate people. 2 hours before the session, the kind of energy that somehow gathered in that room was amazing. It was very powerful, very strong. Anybody who was there could feel it. In fact, it was a warm enough day, and I could feel it so strongly that my body was shivering. Everybody asked me, "What do you do in this room? Is it like, is this some place where you hold your meditations or something?" And it was nothing of the sort. It's just that the energy level just raised, and we could all feel it. During the course of the session, I think Connie told us that the masters build a pillar of light over each one of you. And then it made sense, because it seemed to be just that, because the kind of energy flowing through us was, it was something very different. And anyways, the gazing started, and what I remember of the gazing is she had asked us to release a few things first, some issues that we would like to. And when we did that, I felt like a huge burden off my shoulders. And from that point on, normally when I think of those issues, they like really trouble me. But from that point on, during the gazing, the mind became so amazingly calm. It was unbelievable. When you meditate, you try to achieve that state of a kind of a thoughtless state. Here, the thoughts wouldn't come. I mean, even if you invited them, they were just happy to be at rest. And I could feel that this is not just me looking at Connie across Skype. There was something larger going on here. It was very, very evident. And I remember this vividly. I felt a silvery light fill my being. Could I see it? No. But somehow I felt it. My sister and my mother both thought they couldn't attend the session because they had backaches and they didn't think they would be able to sit through it. They sat through it. At the end of it, their backaches gone, which surprised them. And after the session, a sense of dizziness was something that I carried with me for a long time, and I knew it was the extra energy that I felt in my body.
I found it a very interesting experience, and in the room, everyone was concentrating, and Connie's eyes held mine, and I felt a lot of energy, lot of very powerful energy in the room, and it was a very, very interesting experience for me.
The quantum gaze, the gazing experience was indeed a remarkable experience. For starters, when I heard about it from Naresh Sharma in the form of an email, I didn't know quite what to expect. I was not quite sure as to in what ways would it come to my help or assistance. And as I read through it and read through the various other videos that had been recommended, I began to get a good idea as to what to expect, but still, I didn't know the mechanics. And when Connie started the process, at that point in time, when our gaze was locked, as Koki mentioned, the Connie's eyes for a very brief while took on a very, how to put it, focused, whereas I was seeing it blurred all along. Suddenly, for a while, it was in clear focus. It was almost like we were, as they say, eyeball contact. And at about that time, I felt uh, as though Swami was just standing on my left shoulder. Where, I couldn't quite make out whether his hand was on my shoulder here or not, but I felt that, and his presence was very, very distinct. And just about at that point in time, uh, a wave, there was a big wave of energy that flooded, moved from the televisions, from the television screen towards me. It engulfed all the people sitting, and as it washed over me, there was a feeling of complete peace and quietude. There was no restlessness. It was as though the spirit had calmed completely. And thereafter, once the process was over, there appeared to be a reluctance on the part of the insides to come to terms with the surroundings. One wanted to continue with that experience for a while. Mercifully, we did get the opportunity. When we got home, we carried that feeling with us, and it remained the energy, the pent up energy kind of remained with us for quite a while. And also, I found that with the passage of time, whatever that I had sought for, there were principally only two items, of which one for sure has been settled. The other one I'm still grappling with. So I now look forward to yet another session with the fond hope that at the next session I'll be able to get rid of the unspent or the unfinished item that is on my list yet. And I would like to thank Connie Shaw for all the energies put to get over these negative aspects of mine. I'd like to thank you all. Look forward to the next occasion. Thank you.
I came to know about the gazing from Naresh. I had gone slightly early that day, and I was sitting in the fifth or sixth row at the back. Normally, I wear my specs for gazing. That day, I should have been wearing the specs because the gazing laptop was slightly far away. But I removed it so that the gazing falls directly on my eyes. I did not have any difficulty at all after viewing her for some time. Not only that, in the initial stages I saw everything very clearly, and suddenly this thing happened that these eyes which were very, very familiar, and then it struck me that these are the eyes of Swami, and Swami's eyes gazing me. And then you know what happens suddenly. And then I was taken by emotions. The whole thing, I was stunned, and I was still. And then I found that Swami's eyes falling on me completely. Now I was carrying a photograph of my entire family so that the gazing can also fall on the entire photograph. Since there was somebody sitting right in front of me, I tried to move a little towards the right side so that the gazing can fall on all of them. But suddenly there was a voice which was telling me, "Stay still. There is no need for you to move right or left. I can view everybody in the photo." And with that, tears started flowing down my eyes. And throughout the gazing, I could feel that there were no thoughts at all. Not only that, at the end of the day, till it continued as if I am meditating, practically there were no thoughts at all till around 11:45 p.m. I found it very difficult to sleep that day because I was practically on a no thought, no mind state until that time. Thank you for giving this opportunity for gazing, and it is one of my lifetime opportunity. I will not be able to forget it. Thank you.
Sairam, my name is Ravi Shankar. Today, 4th of November 2013, I attended first gazing session by Connie Shah. Amazing thing which never happened and happened today after the gazing is I could able to see Swami along with my beloved God, who is Lord Venkateswara of Tirumala, at the Sanctum Sanctorium in the main hall of the Lord, where he is there, both of them together and blessing the people who are came to them to see. This is really a wonderful experience for me. It never happened, and this is the first time happened on this particular day. So I am really thankful for this particular session, and which gave me this unforgettable experience. Thank you.
I had an opportunity to attend the gazing session by Connie in the month of July. That was the first time when I got an opportunity. After the session was over, I think I was the first one to jump up and say that I was feeling really empowered. The amount of love that came in through her eyes, I thought that was amazing. I felt I was really empowered. I told her the same. This time today, 4th November, when I attended the second session of gazing, this was an entirely different experience. I have been a Swami devotee from childhood. My mother had introduced us to Swami, saying that he's the God for us. And I have been going to Parthi from my childhood. So every time we wait for darshan for Swami in the morning, and when he comes out, the only thing we do is we look at Swami and tears roll down our eyes, because there's so much love, so much affection coming from his eyes. That's the same thing I felt today. I thought it was Swami looking at us, not Connie. So that's how I felt. It was Swami. And another thing that happened recently with us was my father passed away 1 month back, and there's a lot of sorrow that's there inside still. And I thought all of that has come out. I really cried out, and I felt really light. So this was an amazing experience. Thank you, and Sairam.
Watching the quantum gazing through Kami was like watching a fountain of unconditional love flowing through her eyes. God is love, and love is God, and our very essence is love. The extent, the magnitude, the amplitude of the love that flows through her is really a gift of God, and I think it speaks of the purity that Connie has and the purity with which she works. It was a wonderful feeling, and I know that just by reconnecting with that experience of love, I'm able to go back to that same state and be reminded that I am love and that everything is love. Saida.
I've had the experience of attending 2 quantum gazing sessions with Connie. After the first one, I had felt that I had just moved into a space of unconditional love. I realized that I would see love in everything, whether it's a little child talking to his mother, or whether there's a flower blossoming, or just seeing the colors in nature. It just felt like everything is just filled with love. We somehow understood it intellectually, but after the gazing, I felt my experience had increased manifold. And after this gazing session, I felt during the gazing, when Connie was actually looking at us, I felt as if my heart had unlimited petals, and each petal was unfurling at that time. And it just seemed like I could experience the opening of the heart at a much deeper level than I had ever imagined. I had also experienced a lot of devas, rishis, munis, and masters. Actually, they'd already come into the room when the gazing, just before we started the gazing. It was as if they were there to bless everyone already. But when Connie started looking at everybody, it suddenly seemed like many masters were making themselves known. They were actually gazing at people and showering their love, showering their blessings. And I specifically connected with this great master who is called Tapaswiji. I had never connected with him before. I had only read about him or heard about him. But today it seemed like he was standing right in front of me, looking at me and smiling and laughing actually and saying, haha, finally we connected. And I went into this state of absolute nothingness. It's very difficult to describe. I can't say it's a mati, I can't say it is a shunya or zero state. It was just absolute bliss. Thank you, Saira.
Saram everyone. This is my second gazing session with Connie. The first was a few months back. The first time around, my experience was I did feel something different. I could not put my finger on it, what it was, but then I saw that there were quite a few changes in my life that happened post the first gazing session with respect to what I had intended for during that session. The second time, this particular session on the 4th of November 2013, I could sense an increased energy within my being. It was almost as if I had effortlessly done a couple of hours of meditation, and the kind of zone that I usually find myself in. It was instantaneous. So it was very good, and thank you so much, Connie, for this.
My first experience of gazing was something that I had not expected. I just sat there and Connie gazed at us, and I was feeling very uneasy. I have sometimes a problem of getting very acidic and getting migraines every once in a while. For a few days before I came for this session, I was having some issues with my health. And I was just praying that whatever issues I had with my health be taken care of. And right through the session, I felt the shooting pain go up my spine and my head get really heavy. And I really couldn't understand what was going on. And I got home that night and I felt really sick. And for the next 2 days, I was really violently ill. And I remember being nauseous for 2 days, throwing up, not being able to eat for no reason. And I just felt that this was the energy cleaning whatever nonsense there was inside. And I had prayed that whatever there is come out and I feel healthy again. And shortly after this episode, I know that my energies were much better than they were before. And I began to feel much stronger. I began working out more regularly, sleeping much better, and having much more energy every day than I normally had, and being able to achieve a lot more, sleeping a lot lesser than I used to, and feeling more rejuvenated after a night's sleep. So that really was something that I saw come out of the first gazing experience. And when it was announced that there was a second session that was happening, I rushed because I wanted to be a part of it. I do meditate regularly, and in a lot of the meditation sessions, I find people talking about their visualizations and a lot of things. And I'm not one to normally see anything very much, and I don't visualize that much. But for the first time, I had a very distinct experience, which was quite unlike something for me. I had an experience of first a very blue surrounding light around me, and I saw the presence of Mahavishnu, and it then transformed into a pinkish purplish light, and I saw 3 ascended masters, one of whom I couldn't even name. Later in the session when we were sharing, one of my friends named the master for me. I could only spell it out. I think I saw the presence of Lady Nada. There's also Saint Germain, and it was Melchizedek that was there. And it was quite stunning for me to have experienced that, because normally I don't see anyone and I don't see anything. And it was surprising for me to have experienced that. And I came out when this session was over. I felt like it was something I've never experienced before, and it was feeling of joy and exhilaration. And it was just an extension of the happiness that I've been feeling for a while.
Connie had told us that the impact of gazing increases and affects you deeply the more you do it. I was lucky enough to attend another gazing session at a friend's place in Bombay. Here, when the gazing began, immediately, at the very outset, I felt like a motherly energy just embraced me from all around. It was so deep and so personal, and it felt very sweet. And I heard meaning not in terms of a sound hearing like we hear, but some voice as if registered in my mind very clearly saying, I'm Kuan Yin. I do not know what Kuan Yin is. I do not know what the name represents. But it was as if some being introducing herself as that. And for a moment my mind thought, is it because I had seen that master slide that I'm thinking of Kuan Yin? But I knew Mother Mary in that master slide. So I asked, are you Mother Mary? The reply I got again was very calm, very assured, saying, I'm Kuan Yin. There were tears flowing down my eyes. I realized it only later. And it was that feeling of love that I think just came through. This time again, when I was looking at Connie, I was again overwhelmed by this feeling that this is not just me looking at her. There is something much larger, in much greater magnitude that is transpiring through this process. Like at one point I could almost like feel in some way that Connie's eyes were just like a kind of a screen, and behind that there were many masters, many beings who were like just pouring innumerable expressions of blessings and bounties on us. And I wondered, how are they able to give so much grace through that one look, so much expression through that one look. And yet it was. And I want to express my deep gratitude to Connie and Jim for doing this selfless service. It benefits you so deeply, and it's such an amazing effort that they do. And we're very, very grateful to them, and we hope that we can keep doing this for months to come in the future. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Connie. Thank you so much for this. God bless you. Sign on.
Hi, I'm Kritin from Mumbai. I had a lot of headache before the gazing, but as the gaze was finished, I was relieved. All my thoughts had calmed down. I think this was the first time that instead of imagining something, I was able to read myself what is going on in me. I was really happy, and I wish this gaze comes again and again in my life and in your lives, so that we have a better day. Thank you, and Jai Sai Ram.